The South African Police Union says it's unfair to charge the 4 police officers in the Mthokozisi Ntumba case with murder. The 4 accused are appearing at the Johannesburg Magistrate Court today, where they are expected to apply for bail. The NPA is opposing bail. But for more on this, I'm joined on the line by Mr. Lesiba Thobakgale, the spokesperson for the South African Police Union, as well as watchdog IPID's spokesperson, Ms. Ndileka Cola. A very good afternoon to both of you. Let me start with you, Mr. Lesiba. Give us reasons why you believe that the 4 police officers are being treated unfairly in this instance.
Ms. Thami, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. As the South African Policing Union, we are saying that there are several means to secure the attendance of an alleged accused in court. One could be through summons, one could be through a subpoena, and the last resort, it is through an arrest. The incident occurred the way it has. We believe that IPID itself, it was supposed to have summoned or maybe subpoenaed those members of ourselves to appear in court based on the allegations that they have. And also it goes further to the issue of IPID saying that they're going to oppose bail so that these members are not supposed to go out there. This time it is clear as well that we need to mention, to say, the police officials during the course of their duties, the unforeseen has happened. And as it stands, the matter, it is in court, and the court is the one that is supposed to be allowed through the processes so that the verdict or the finalization of the case can come. But the issue of the opposition of bail by IPID, as SAPU, we feel that that is not right. It is uncalled for. Those members are not a flight risk. Those members are working for the state, and there is no way where they can run or go anywhere. And anyway, the incident that occurred, it is clear for us to put this position to say, we believe that, those members, they were on duty, they were performing their duties. Yes, we acknowledge that the unfortunate happened. Why should they be charged for something that happened, which is a mistake at the end of the day? That is our position, because we really feel that those members, they are being let down by the SAPS management, who is supposed to be standing by their side through these trying times that those members are finding themselves in, because they were executing the duties of the state at that moment when the incident occurred. And it is unfortunate that a loss of life has happened, but we are talking about an accident that occurred during those processes.
All right, let me bring Ms. Ndileka in here. Ms. Ndileka, you can hear Lesiba saying that what happened was a mistake. Those are his words. He says it was unfortunate, and he says he doesn't understand why the state is opposing bail. Your response to that?
Good afternoon to you. As IPID, let me first indicate that our mandate is to ensure that as an oversight board, whenever there is alleged police misconduct, whenever somebody has allegedly died in the hands of police officers, and as it occurred on the 10th of March, we were called into the crime scene and IPID put together a team of senior investigators.
Ms. Ndileka, I must apologize for that. Our line is very bad. Let's try and perhaps improve that line. We'll continue our conversation in just a moment with both the South African Police Union and IPID on this particular issue. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. This is your daytime update. We are in conversation with Mr. Lesiba Thobakgale. He's the spokesperson for the South African Police Union, as well as watchdog IPID spokesperson, Ms. Ndileka Cola. Now, just before we went to that break, I was asking you, Ms. Cola, what your response is to Mr. Lesiba. He was saying that what happened regarding Mr. Ntumba was a mistake. He says it was unfortunate, and he doesn't understand why the state is opposing bail. Your response?
My response, Thami, is I appreciate you and I appreciate your listeners this afternoon. What I want to clarify here is that IPID is an oversight body that has a mandate to ensure that whenever the police officers have transgressed the law as alleged in this particular incident, our responsibility is to investigate that. And as IPID, when we do our investigation, as it is in this particular incident, on the 10th of March, we were called into the crime scene. We started our investigation process, and based on the information that we acquired through the preliminary investigation report that was done by our senior investigators, because a team of investigators was put together by IPID. And on the 15th of March, these police officers were arrested. I want to indicate that before we can arrest police officers, we do consult with the crime prosecutor, and the crime prosecutor would then look at the evidence that we had that was from the preliminary investigation that was done as IPID. And then the crime investigator gave us authority to go ahead and arrest the police officers. I want to indicate, Thami, that there is no way that someone who is not involved in the actual investigation process, who has not employed the various investigative aids, can determine what sort of charges should be faced by the accused, and in this particular incident, the 4 police officers. So I want to just indicate that we are having a team of seasoned investigators that have thoroughly, sleeplessly worked on this case. And even when there's no malice from the side of IPID, but our intention is to ensure justice for Mthokozisi, is to ensure closure for the families. And when we do so, we have to, even at the point when the directorate will be opposing bail, it's because we are still investigating this particular case and want to ensure that there's no interference with this particular case and the investigation process. Other than that, there is no malice intended against police officers, but IPID remains very committed in ensuring justice, and we work tirelessly, and we continue to do so. Thank you.
Ms. Cola, one of the complaints against by SAPU rather is the fact that they believe that the charge of murder is too stringent, that it should perhaps be a culpable homicide. Your reaction or response to that?
Based on the preliminary investigation that IPID has conducted, based on the evidence that IPID has in its possession, IPID has then given to the court the charges of murder. Somebody has died here, Thami, and we can't pretend that there's nobody who has killed someone. And murder charges have to be faced in this particular context. As well, there's 3 attempted murder cases that are being faced by the 4 police officers that are currently in court as we are speaking. Thirdly, there are also 4 charges of defeating the cause of justice that are being faced by these 4 police officers. We must understand that this is based on evidence. This is based on factual information that has been gathered as we were doing our own investigation as the oversight body that ensures that police are not a law unto themselves. When we do so to ensure justice for victims of police misconduct. And in this particular context, is to ensure justice for Mthokozisi. And these are the charges that they are facing. It is only, for the court of law, it is only the judge that can acquit the police officers. But as IPID, and based on the information we have, those are the charges we forwarded and that they are facing currently before the court of law.
Let me bring you in here, Mr. Lesiba. A while back, just around the time, or actually on the day or the day after Mr. Ntumba was shot, here at Newsroom Africa, Thami Ngubeni spoke to Police Minister Bheki Cele, who confirmed to us that there are issues here of defeating the ends of justice, in the sense that the police officers who were involved were not truthful about the exact events as they transpired on that day. What then is your comment and your response to that?
From the side of SAPU, Mrs. Thami, we need to make it clear to say the investigations, they need to be finalized. They need to go on and be finalized. And the merits of the case will be the ones that determine what is presented before court. But the point that we are bringing to IPID is that they succumb themselves to political pressure simply because the minister pronounced himself and the president of the Republic of South Africa pronounced himself on the same. And the very same issue of opposing bail. Sister Thami, it is clear that we need to mention that there is no police official who would wake up in the morning and say, today I'm going to kill people. The unfortunate happens. But the issue of IPID saying that they oppose bail because they believe that they don't want any interference, there is no member who would go and interfere with the investigation. And for them to oppose bail, we still believe that is uncalled for.
Mr. Lesiba, what Mr. Ndileka has said here is that they have investigated, and based on their investigation, this is the stance that they have taken, that you yourselves, in as much as you are police members yourself, that you do not have the evidence that they themselves have collected. So she's saying that there's no malice on their side, but this is really about ensuring that justice does prevail for an innocent man who was shot. And if you will remember this, we actually did speak to the doctor that was there on the day, the doctor that had treated Mr. Ntumba before his shooting. And he says that Mr. Ntumba was shot 3 times, one in the head, once in his chest, and the third one in his stomach. What is then your response to that? The fact that there are investigations, that evidence is being collected. Why are you, as SAPU, so confident to stand by your members without really interrogating the facts that are currently at hand? Is justice not that which ought to be paramount at this time? And this is justice for all parties involved.
Sister Thami, remember the preliminary investigation that Ndindi has referred to. We do not believe that it is concluded as yet, because we can attest to say that even the post-mortem report, it is still ongoing in order to determine what is the clear cause of the death of Mr. Ntumba. We are not naive of that, but the point that we are putting forth is to say everyone needs to be fair in this process, in everything that is being collected and presented before the courts. So NPA and IPID, everything that they are doing, they need to do it being independent and working on the facts that are presented before them, but not to go and oppose bail to say these people are supposed to be there. It ends up as a punishment. Already they are convicted by IPID in terms of how they behaved in this case.
You mentioned there, you said it needs to be clear what the cause of death is, and the fact that the post-mortem has not yet been released. By that statement, are you alluding to the fact that you think that perhaps the shotgun wounds from the rubber bullets could have not been the cause of death? Is that what you're saying?
Sister, the investigations are there to conclude what is the cause of death. And that until such time where that investigation is out, the post-mortem is out, which is stating what is the cause of death, then we can be able to pronounce ourselves. All we are saying is, SAPU, that let us allow processes, but let not our members be prejudiced in this process. They must not be treated unfairly. And we need to mention that as SAPU, we do not promote police brutality. And throughout, when everyone is to be presented before court. We can make an example. When politicians have cases against them, they get subpoenaed to come to court. They do not get arrested. And then IPID needs to really act independently. And NPA, in terms of formulating charges, there are elements when we speak to a murder charge. There are certain elements that needs to be fulfilled. And we are calling on NPA to say when they do that, they need to do it without any political pressure so that they can present the correct information before the court for the court to make a determination.
All right. Thank you so much to both of you for your time this afternoon in putting both your points across. That there was the spokesperson for the South African Police Union, Mr. Lesiba Thobakgale, and also from IPID, Ms. Ndileka Cola.